In this video we're going to look at the GPO Explorer option in NetTools and how we can actually use the option to actually test the status of the GPOs in terms of replication in AD, but also within sysvol. So the GPO option actually contains three different test options for being able to test GPOs within a domain. So if we click on the actual domain level within the GPO test and we actually go to test, what this enables us to do is that this gives us a very sort of similar test and output as what used to be in the old GPO tool, which used to be part of the Windows 2003 resource kit. Unfortunately, Microsoft have actually retired it now, and it's not actually available anymore. It's available in a few sort of like websites which are hosting it, but Microsoft officially sort of discontinued the use of it. So we just ran this test, and obviously it's found loads of errors because if we scroll through this, we can see there's quite a few of these which have failed. Obviously this one's passed, so just if it says it's okay, we're all good. But it's actually quite a few failures in here. So what we'll do is we'll start at the top and we'll try and work through this and we'll try and troubleshoot some of these issues. So the first policy we're looking at is the allow logon locally policy. So if we go to the policy, what we can do is we can then do an individual test against the policy. And it's got a few issues. So it's saying it can't access the sysvol on DCO3. It's got a mismatch of version numbers, which is not surprising because if it can't access it, it can't get the details. It's also going some pretty sort of significant errors with permissions. But if we go to sysvol test now, we actually now test the permissions. And what we've got here is it's saying it can't find anything. So it can't find path 2. It's got error 2, unable to read the path. So obviously there's something wrong with DCO3. It's got some pretty significant issues at the moment around that one. So if we skip to the next one and see if we get anything the same. So default domain controller policy. If we do the same again here, let's test this. So this one's a little bit less. It's just saying it's actually only got some version mismatches in terms of the version number which is in the AD and what's actually in sysvol. So that might be quite an easy one to fix. Normally for this type of error, when it's just the version number, the easiest way to actually fix this is to actually go to the policy itself. And if we just edit it, and we find a setting which is set in here, and basically just make a change. We'll just choose one of these. So for instance, this one's set to none, so we'll just change this to required. Just say yeah, and then we set it back to none again. And just doing that will actually cause the Active Directory and the sysvol to be updated. So that'll actually rewrite those. So if we test again, now we've got some more issues. We've got AD mismatches. Now that may just be replication intervals. So maybe just set the fact that that hasn't been replicated to the AD yet. So we'll just run this a couple of times, see how we go. Right, we'll just check see if these DCs are in the same site because they may be in different sites, and we have maybe some replication. So they're in different sites. So let's have a look, see what our replication is between these two sites. So if we look at this and we look at our link costs, so it's on quite a long interval, 180 minutes, which obviously is going to take a long time to replicate. So what we might do is we might actually just force that replication in the background and then see if that actually fixes that problem. Bear with me a sec. Okay, so we just force that. So let's do a refresh. So now AD is in sync, but we still got some sysvol issues. Okay, so that might be the same as the other one because we've got some sysvol issues on here as well. This one can't even be accessed. So we'll come back to that one in a second. So fix the DC side of it, hopefully. So let's have a look at the next one, and internet access policy. So this is saying the ACLs don't match, and we've got a sequencing issue. One of the things with when we look at the permissions on sysvol, the GPMC sometimes produces errors if the sequencing isn't right with the policy. So this one's saying that it's matching, but we've got an extra one here which is not in the other one, and so this is also saying that you may potentially have a replication issue because this one exists on this server but not on that server. So it looks like we've got some problems with DCO3, which we'll need to look at in a second. And then LDAP-S configuration. We're in a sysvol, and yeah, we've got some pretty significant errors there. And actually, we've already got an error set down the bottom here saying that the block inheritance has been disabled, which is a problem for. Yep, so it's got loads of block inheritance options missing, and that sequence is down to the fact that block inheritance is missing on that one. All right, so let's do the next one. New ACL test. And we've got some sequencing errors in the permissions. Yep, they're all over the place. I think the next one was ACL2, which has also got a problem. ACL2 has also got some issues. So we test that. That one's got a minor sequencing issue. Yep, it's saying it's the same. Next one. They're all good. Restricted groups. It looks like we've got some version mismatches here. Restricted groups. That one's looking good. Yeah, okay. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Restricted groups. So ACLs are looking good on sysvol, and we've got some mismatches in the sysvol. So it does look like sysvol's got a bit of a problem on DCO3. If you scroll down a bit further, we've got block inheritance is disabled, so that's obviously a bit of an issue for that one. Let's go again, and we have, yeah, because block inheritance comes through, we've got some permissions which are missing, or added, shall we say. And the last one, I think it's this last one, DHCP, which is also saying, so sysvol is looking good in terms of permissions, and then we've got permissions which haven't been applied properly across some of the actual sysvol folder. So what we'll do first of all is that, so I do actually know what the problem is with this. The DFS replication has actually been stopped on node 3, which is part of the testing to simulate these errors. So what we'll do is we'll just restart it and see if that starts to clear up some of those errors within the replication between node 3. And what we'll do is we'll just do a quick test on to see if these start coming back, because they might come back quickly. It might take a little while. I might have to actually force the replication to run. So this one's saying it's inaccessible, so that's probably because the fact I think I created it after it was. Nope, still not there yet. What we'll do is that I'll go in force replication in the background, and then we'll come back and run these tests again in a second. Okay, so that required a D2 restart to actually get it to replicate again. And if we test the thing, we can now see that our sysvol issues are gone. Let's just check super there. That looks good. So that's cleaned up those. We'll run the whole test against all of them again and see which ones are now got problems. As you can see, we've still got a few, but it's much better than it was before. So we've got a lapse configuration. So this, and I think this is because it's because block inheritance has not been has been disabled. So what we'll do is have a quick look at that in terms of computers. Scroll down. So we're looking at this one, which is 305. So from here then, let's change the view to include advanced. Go system, policies, and then 3.5. Let's have a quick look at what we've got in the permissions here. Advanced. Yep, and so we'll block it. So we'll convert. It will mean there's loads of leftovers, but that should sort the first error out. So let's try that. So now we've got mismatch. So we've got some AD replication we're waiting for. We just force AD is gone, and we're waiting for sysvol to replicate. Oh no, sorry. I need to check sysvol because I've done AD. And we want 305. Yep, and we'll disable. We'll copy those. Come back and have a look now. Yep, so that's just sysvol replication, so that should be pretty quick. So we'll just wait for this to go across. Yep, it's getting there. We'll come back to that one because that one's still replicating. And then what's the next one? DCMPS. Block inheritance as well. We've also got sysvol mismatch. So we've got here. So the permissions are replicated. We just need to block those. Block it. And that one is 2F on sysvol. 3F, sorry. Oh, it's not. Let's just quickly check then. Sysvol block inheritance. Negative. It is that one. So you might just be waiting for that to finish replicating. Let's test it again. See what the sysvol one, the actual version numbers are. This might be the same again. We'll just go in and edit the policy quickly, and then that should fix it probably. And so if we look here, it's saying that, so we've got an error saying they don't match. So user and for user, sysvol, where is the version of this? Oh, sorry, here we are. So we're on 0, sorry, 1 and 1, and then sysvol versions is 1 and 2 for machine. So the machine side of the policy has been updated, but not the AD. So what we'll do is quickly change that. So if we go to the policy, we'll quickly edit it. We can actually edit it from NetTools as well. So we're saying machine. We'll do the same as done before. We just quickly enable an option, then disable it. So we'll enable this. Oops. That, and then we'll go back and disable it. So that will change that one. And then if we go back to the policy testing, that's now 5 and 5. We've still got some sysvol numbers mismatch. So let's just run that again. Definitely mismatched now. Oh yeah, I have to do AD replication because it's latency in the delay. Let's just do that. And then test again. So there's our version numbers. We just got block inheritance is disabled. Look at that one in a second. So I think now, if we clear it and start again, I think we're looking pretty good. So we've got this one which is saying it's missing permissions in the sysvol. So 2B7. And what we'll do is that because this is a permissions down the tree issue, we'll force it to actually sync those down the tree. And then if we do that again on DHCP, test, have it apply. Okay, so this one's a slightly different one in the fact that what it's actually saying is that when we look at the policy is set to apply to nobody. So what it's actually highlighting is that the apply right is missing. So really this should actually have should be applied to somebody, and that's what it's complaining about. So if we go delegation, I always use advanced. I don't like the other one, mainly because I don't know what it's doing most of the time. So if we just go authenticated users, and what we'll do is we'll take that and give it apply right. So that will force the AD replication as well. And now when we run this, we have just got a sysvol replication error waiting to replicate. So the authenticated users one's been added. And we should, as soon as sysvol replicates, get this one fixed as well. Now, one thing I have seen in the past is that DFSR sometimes doesn't pick up permission changes, and you need to do a D2 to actually get it to go. But hopefully we don't need to do that here. He says, but we're not getting it. So that one's almost fixed. So let's just clear this and run this all again and see how close we are. Alright, I think that's the last one. Got this block inheritance one, so we'll look at that again in a sec. Okay, now we're waiting for the sysvol to replicate DCMPS. I'm trying to understand why this one is actually reporting an error. So in terms of we're looking browsers just to make sure. So it's definitely blocked inheritance in AD. That's what that blue exclamation mark means. We will go up a level just to make sure. We're on 2.3. 2.3.7. So it's all there. It's got an apply. So that looks good. So from an AD perspective, we're looking good from that perspective. And if we go to this, we've got different paths. Okay then, so that's probably confused it because I was looking at the 2.3, but this one's actually been moved to 0.4. So if we go and look at 0.4 then, and on here under advanced, yes, it is blocked inheritance. So let's block the inheritance on that one. That's a bit of a gotcha there. The sysvol path has been changed on that one. I can't remember doing that actually, but I probably did to test some other things. So let's run the tests again. And we've still got 2 left, which is waiting for, this is almost going to be almost definitely sysvol replication it's waiting for. So let's have a quick look, see if we've got this moving or not. Still waiting sysvol. That one's getting closer because it knows it's actually working now. This one's just got a sequencing issue. That one's just waiting for sysvol. What I might do is I might give it a little bit of a nudge in the background to see if we can move it a little bit quicker. So now the replication is done. So we'll do another test again. And we can see that we've fixed those. Let's just check, see if these are gone. They're all looking good. So if we go back up again now, and let's just clear this and run again. Voila, 100% successful. So all policies now have been fixed. Sorry guys, probably not the best video, but just to give you an idea of what you can do with the GPO Explorer and the test options to actually understand what issues you have and then actually what you can do to fix them. I'll also add a link in the description to the Microsoft article around the burr flag options to force the resync of sysvol as well. Thanks for now.